May 2022. Now World Press Freedom Day. Lately na salon, we don't hear a lot of time where the president they talk, and they talk say the press they practice free na salon. And Ingo knocking chest say no journalist no dey behind bars for the work where the person they do. That means say journalists no dey na cell na pademba road just because it dey practice in journalism, just because it dey write some things them where other people are not glady, so it dey behind bars for that. We don't hear the president they talk and bokutem. And whenever when the president self want for talk, they talk say we don't repeal the criminal libel law. That then again, you go get people them we go count different things. But Ezekiel Sam King at the start of the program, he give me one or two things them where he they try for ask a question about freedom of speech and press freedom. He say if they're not the same or what's in there between them. Okay, this now what's me understand. The freedom of speech and the press freedom. Freedom of speech now we human rights. Now we own human rights that one day. Where the bigger ledger than at the world say if we not glady, we for talk 'em. If we glady, we for talk 'em. Now we right as human being them for express how we they feel. Good, bad, or ugly. That one day, now freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Me na wait as I the talk I stand to be corrected. Press freedom. Now the citizen, where they act as a journalist, where they speak for certain people them. The journalist self gets right for express himself. But he gets a platform where he they use. Lord just push AAA na the center na ya. Now AAA. Or we use Sarah Network talk to the camera. Yeah? Now we use Sarah Network talk to the camera. AAA come on me do leanda kana kona. Or they use Sarah Network talk to the camera now. So the platform is Sierra Network. Where they use the press freedom. The individual the way we can go interview, but then are the citizens them. We themselves get right for express themselves under the freedom of expression. I don't know if I convince you or I confuse you. That's what I say the press freedom and the freedom of expression, they go together. The press freedom na an entity, na an institution, who say people them where they use the freedom of expression can use that one day under the press freedom. Unless you get another way where you see them, then I believe say you go come explain that to we who will open the phone line. Okay. All right. Let me say sound no day, but I see somebody don't say a person don't say sound day now. Okay. So we don't able for forget that understanding the between. Then I wait till me understand though, between the freedom of expression and the press freedom. Yeah? Freedom of expression. Now we own human rights that one day. And mostly freedom of expression, politicians they not like 'em. They not like 'em. But it is what it is. So today, na press freedom day. In Sierra Leone, we ask, Fambull them. Do ya? How we press freedom day na salon? Eh? Annie Stevens say, I confuse him because Blacker go na jail because he express himself. Then you don't need for be confused. You just need for make up of him now how you see him. Because I know I'm confuse somebody. Eh? A lot of times in Sierra Leone, in the world at large, not even in Sierra Leone alone, then he say, and people already talk too much, and people already talk too, they're not correct. I'll tell us, say, press freedom, not for journalists no more. Any citizen can act as the press. So now I make myself try for explain that one day. The institution, the entity, and the individual. I make we use talk to the camera as an example. I make we use them, eh? All right. Well, let we listen to this morning na Radio Democracy 98.1 within the head, the president of Sludge Imbi Get for C. Now listen the conversation. I'm going to come inside small.
Firstly, just start for tell listeners how, as the president for the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, how you could describe press freedom na salon currently.
Thank you very much. Well, for we go see we get plenty for celebrate about, and we also get plenty for worry about. Make I start for to the one who I say for celebrate. If you look at Rio Media, since them pull the criminal and seditious libel common at the law books, we don't find out say we don't make some commendable progress there in the last 2 years in terms of press freedom. One, I can say now we're not getting no journalists within a jail.
Yeah, now Ahmed Nasrallah, we all know him for the monk, and the president for Sierra Leone Association of Journalists. I tell you just to say, even the president, whenever he goes on side, we want to talk about press freedom. And the first word way Nasrallah talks so, now in first himself he always talk say, no journalist not in a jail because of waiting in the practice, in job, okay?
In relation to the work we need to do. Number two, we not get no media house where they don't close for the past 2 years, except recently.
Okay, no media house, no day where this administration don't close within the last 2 years. No media house, no day, but something be happened recently. You go tell we what thing be happen.
Will the Independent Media Commission ban Justice FM?
Justice FM then be banned, I think, for 10 hours.
Just for 10 hours. for on radio-like language.
Then we ban them for on radio-like language. Justice FM na salon. But now be for 10 hours no more.
And threatening remarks, and they lift our back. And we also don't get the incident of arrest and detention of journalists. They don't reduce drastically since 2022. Since 2020, we then passed the law, we they repeal the law.
So since 2020, the incidents where they can use for arrest journalists them, they say it don't reduce drastically from the time where the law come to pass and where they repeal the criminal libel law.
And if you look at the latest World Press Freedom Index, where they come out today, you find out say we don't move 29 places up in the ranking.
So Salon moved 29 place up in the ranking. Say, well, we say they do well. Will not be they fine, but now we don't do well, so we don't come up bottom yonder. We don't come up now.
From 75th will be there last year. Now they 46th position at the world. And I believe say the one they do last day to the repeal of the criminal libel law.
So anyone believes say that position who will be there, who don't come out now they 46. He believes say largely the impact of the repeal where the president be repeal the criminal libel law now it make we able for can gain that kind of position there.
And also the fact that the government passed the IMC Act who try for address the minimum conditions of service of reporters there, and also for media pluralism in the country. Then for the first time also in the 22 years history of the Independent Media Commission, that commission even know that the statutory body will regulate the media in a salon, and the body will they establish from the idea of sludge for law move towards self-regulation. For the first time in the history, 22 years history, now the first time the sludge nominate 7 people in, including the chairperson, for go be members of that committee there, of 12 members there. It never happened.
Okay. Sludge self able for nominate people them and then all be approval 7. Even the chairman now Sludge be nominate him for IMC.
First thing, without believing in our progress we don't make. And we also see Sludge sign an MOU with the security sector last November, and we work with them for ensuring we realize the MOU day, because we know it's very important for realizing press freedom. And we also get the government of Sierra Leone don't announce they don't increase annual subvention to the media from 250 million to 500 million.
Yeah, this is good though. Government, the subvention where they can give the media houses them, they don't increase them from 250 million loans to 500 million loans. 100% increase. From 250 to 500. But they are listening, yeah? They not say just on a me talker.
Although we still not receive for 2021 and 2022.
So, the subvention 2021 we don't done. They don't receive it. Even though they don't increase some more. They don't receive it first. Then 2022. Now the 5th month we did so. They don't receive not yet for 2022. So what you go say? Well, let them not for be don't increase. Let them just give it in them be don't use for give. Because 2021 you don't done first. Subvention not come for media houses. Even though there is an increase from 250 million to 500 million. 2021 don't done. 2022. Now the 5th month we dey go so. Instead, nothing okay it. If they not pay for 2021, or 2022 then go pay for. But we all been glad about the increase. But up till now, nothing not show up it. Make our one begin think say, and for $1 and the 250 then pay. Because sometimes the 500 then say that no good. Say quarter say one long banks. But you don't know. But I know reach day. How they go.
And just last month, you remember say Sludge, the BBC Media Action, and the government of Sierra Leone, we organized the first National Media Viability and Investment Conference in Salone. So those are the things that we for me clarity about as press freedom. But like I say, we also need for worry, because the threats to the media don't make it much back. You will find out, say, while on this day, we will talk about the progress we don't make in terms of press freedom, we will also talk about we also red flag the emerging threats them we don't happen. With the CCA, Sludge and the MRTG would record other incidents them of intimidation, harassment, and assassination attempt on journalism to make it start all over again. And then I cause for concern for us.
Okay, Musa, wait. Election they come. Okay. With all waiting Nazrala, the president is say, we can listen a later with Smoba about the cause for concern, waiting worrisome. Yes, we go celebrate the gains we make, but I want enough for whip the concerns them we get.
Concern for us.
We can look at the red flags them and whose area it come out from. But my colleague earlier we the bill the preamble give waiting press freedom mean according to the global context from large standpoint and partners them to Salone situation. What you can define as press freedom?
Well, let's listen now, yeah? Maybe don't analyze me on gist now. Let's listen waiting the president of Sludge in defined as press freedom.
Well, press freedom na we as large, the ability of members there for practice their work freely without any hindrance. And also to look at the public also. The public the right for express themselves and make their opinion freely without any hindrance.
So it talk about the journalists them for practice their right, and also the public for express. All right.
How to look at and we also look at the political economy of the media, how the media they survive.
Listen now. This is very important. How the media they survive. How the media they survive. You know, a lot of people can say, or they say, oh no, na advert. How it is we now not get advert. The media, na advert, now they take survive. Now listen to the president. Waiting you want for make you understand, yeah?
Whether the media they under siege from politicians or big business interests them, or whether the media are independent. So these are the things they look for. And also we colleagues them who the line of duty, then they find some difficulties and they face difficulties them. All around the things they will raise up and try to see how they will address them.
You talk about red flags, threats will emerge. Now for most quarter it come out from and how worrisome it is.
Well,
to some situations or examples.
Well, definitely it come out from the Sierra Leone police.
Bam! Aye! You need for your leader one day back. Then you know say just not a skip talker. You need for your Usai it come out from Usai. Listen ba.
Now for most quarter it come out from and how worrisome it is.
Well,
to some situations or examples.
Well, definitely it come out from the Sierra Leone police.
It come out from Usai? Sierra Leone police. Hi! Salone police. How una they do? E couche e cabo. Una couche o. The president for Sludge say the thing that we don't worry about now from Salone police that they come out. Hey bo, Salone police why? Why? Let me talk more. Let not say just no. You need example? Well, wait. Let begin give you example, Lemba.
The biggest threat to the media freedom we don't achieve in the last 2 years, the pressure they come on, especially because most of the clash they would get now with the Sierra Leone police.
So he say all the gains we don't get. Any clash will happen now with Salone police. Salone police. A force for good.
Because if you look at the cases that we record from close of 2021 to now, you find out, say, we get some incident that we not the police involved directly. And we get some incident that happen out people from outside. We believe, say, they are politically motivated.
Politics don't kind sign. So the journalist in a salon think to say some of the incidents where they meet up with policemen, politics they be in there. Salon police. Okay.
So if I just give example of them, you find out, say, when I station manager last year, close of the year last year, they released a video against some very scathing video, because when I hear a program of a national rapper.
Okay, you the strength for talker. Let help you now. We LJ, me make that video. We cause us my James. Now they talk so. You know say he say national rapper. You know what? Now that one day they talk because a lot of people feel to say it be aggrieved because they want and the journalists and they do their work. Now I make it come out and do that what he do. But we all know how the team be end up, eh? Alright, continue now. Because you just look strange for talk the talk.
Oh, wait, if you say we not for reporter. Then one, then a digital space. Then you get other one who the Salon police assault a photographer of AYV.
Okay, low Holland. Because not to AYV no more, they assault the photographer. Sometimes when a YouTuber in self they assault himself on that particular day. They assault the AYV photographer, the cameraman. I don't know what thing do Salon police and camera. But I don't go to the point, I don't interview Salon police media why they ask say, do you have camera in Salon police? When they can go training. Now they tell and say, who side they see camera they will become G3? Eh? Because that same day of that incident day, Sontia they assault him because of waiting, because of it be the record. Even the AYV cameraman with AYV everything, they assault him back because of waiting in the record. So, So waiting. All right. Let it go. Let me explain what be happen that thing this small.
Where the photographer go cross-check information about an accident with the police involved, and we involve also a child. You go there for go cross-check the information, and the police assault her, and they also detain him briefly, and he pull in camera, and he will equipping them. Right now, they need to talk to the police for try for recover the items and the.
Oh, so then they in talks. AYV they in talks with police for buy the camera then. Okay. All right.
Then the president of the Reporters Union, who also now a worker at the AYV Media, Amadou Manaba, he suffered humiliation at the Freetown International Airport and almost missing flight for go at the AFCON 2021 in Cameroon.
Okay. We all remember what thing be happen with Lambrana. When the Jazzy where Salon for take play, be still there with them na Lunge Airport. Flight no day. And Lambrana go on a Facebook page, he write. Somebody see him, not glady. Then feel to say Lambrana na the government pay for him. Not to even the government be pay for him. It not be there under the government in delegation today, under Slaffa or under nothing. Now Africell na him be pay for Lambrana for go. Now him sponsor Lambrana under AYV for make it go for go cover Leone Stars at Cameroon. Somebody feel to say, not glady with waiting Lambrana put say, we then a airport. The best for them for take play. Look and we all then also will not travel it. They say well Lambrana not for travel again where the plane come. Then be get for say waiting orders from above. Somebody say na call them. Big person at airport say say then call and say Lamran are not for board the flights. So we still have those kind of things going on. Eh? With all we gain, so say we don't make. Now right, now we all in the vest there. We don't know what and go play with you because now all there somebody vest. Now so me antique say vest. Somebody vest because he connected to the power grid. He make phone call say that Monday not for go inside the plane. Even though Papa God not to under slaffa they go. Not to under slaffa. I the country this so get. But how they go? So in case you want forget, so in the count the reminder them for we. Say it's still the happen inside 2022. It happened.
Yeah, let's say somebody above and give an order say enough for go. They will drop on the list of the people who go because it puts some critical story on Facebook page in relation to sports.
Me, I don't tell you now what be happening.
Then we also get the Salon police. One journalist at Kiss 104 FM, he published some things them in program where they do.
Listen, oh, yeah, listen, fine. Kiss 104 FM na bo, na dey. Na dey the man doing program oh, na bo. Listen.
He published some information about two businessmen that were involved in the tussle, and so the police invite her. Police send officers in there, then send them go na bo, then go arrest them.
So the man doing program na bo, the complaint can have written. Then they catch the program for something. Papa God. Now different parts there. Now I think Waterloo, they get on small. But Kiswano for no strong inside Friton. And IMC day for Tinleg then one day. But no, not to IMC invite the journalists from Bo for Cam na Friton. Who did? Shalom Police. Listen.
He makes it menable, but then take then transport and the couch and Friton. He can spend one night na the police cell there.
So he makes statements nabo about the program where he do. Then pull a nabo. Then the guy can all the way can free tongue. Can keep an free tongue. Make he spend one night na the police cell na free tongue. You do your program done. You as a journalist. And a case where he be the investigate but. Somebody not glady, and the person connected to the power grid, so it's shock and small. They can say it shock you at the power grid. Pull and come out, bo. Can lock and small na friton. Tell me ba. Why made them do that? Not so for making not do the next program for follow up. And then there's some of we see like say intimidation. But low they go.
Then you also get the latest one we'll get. The journalist in Cambia, Jibril Goto. You wake up one morning and find out say they don't come put petrol in apartment.
Okay. Look, Jibril Goto, himself.
They put on a plastic, they drop one, then paint in the mouth with petrol.
Then tie petrol and warning. Then get a warning. Then tie petrol and plastic. Then left the petrol in the drip. Done. Then take petrol and splash and in the mouth. What a warning then Gianzo. Why?
And now it is fear for your life and the life of your family than an assassination attempt. So only one of the things that we call it. We also go beyond just detention and arrest and assassination attempt. We also look at the political economy of the media.
The political economy of the media. I'll make you look fine and understand fine. Listen well. The media, they survive through adverts them. Where you advertise, Then get the way how they can do the understanding. Some man are 3 months, some man are 6 months. How you play, how you go do whatever. Some man are monthly. Now advertisements and the media they survive my. Listen to this.
How the politicians they influence the media, how they capture the media, and also how government advertising is so unfair, and for pay for the advertising themselves, even though it's so unfairly distributed.
So, government they advertise, but for pay for the advert them, and where government they advertise is supposed for distribute them fairly. Because you dey target every radio station get usai in the cover. Every radio station get usai in the cover. So if you want to disseminate information, we get to do with the citizens, then we get to do with the entire country. You're supposed to distribute fairly. We give the one in Afriton, you give them a Waterloo. You give them a Makeni, you give them a Bo, you give them a Cambia, you fairly. But not to say it happen. Yeah, what the monks have say, even though they know they distribute them fairly. What's in again?
For pay for the advert themselves is very, very worrying because they can take 6 months, 1 year, sometimes indefinitely they know they pay.
So for even pay for the advert. Some man has 6 months, 1 year. So man, tell the administration change, they know they pay. And it's a sin now an easy way for control the media houses. Because if you want to pay you, go talk with you and talk we know the please we. Let's say money go come out. Even on a service where you don't render. Go host program or go host certain person. Where that person there in your motor against we. Let's see if we go pay you that money. Now that way they miss them. Say they want them where they know they pay. Trust me. I don't want them. We can they run them out with something happen. But the one they go to sing praises, they vous la yon there, and go they pay there. And go they pay there. Because if they say now, they get 1 Leone for shape. You think say, you will all tell, you they talk, waiting you feel say, waiting they not glad. If you say they go give that 1 Leone day, no. Then go share among the one that they talk with made them glady, and then go pay for say well you on the next budget we go waiting say for you. And media houses can't survive without the money because they need that money there. Now even the subvention way for come in way for help the media houses them 2021 FIP 2022 now the 5 months today per so. So you don't see? Not to Koju control. This now remotely. This now the serviceman way. Now so the control they take place. Alright.
So these are the issues we need to worry about. And we also worry not just for journalists then. We also worry beyond journalists then to the public.
Okay. So now you don't done with the journalists then. Now the public. They are worried. Sludge say then worry. But the problem why? Why would not worry about the public? Why?
Look at the arrest and detention of teachers then who they express their views about the situation.
I see. That policeman will take that phone call from whoever will be tell and say, hey, Mr. Khan, it is right now na AYV. Going for another. As they come on, una pap sam for we, una counter, una drag and come. I believe say that policeman na the wrong call he ever take. Because anytime this issue come up, like I the council. Now, as people they want to talk, now that issue they bring because it's fresh. And they call the Kali and a table. Bap. They arrest that teacher. They arrest teacher them. They arrest teacher them. Anytime they say they arrest teacher, I can see. I say they between head too. They shake you and say, hey me. Oh me. Hey me. If I be no, I not take that call. Because right now, but then tell me, they say that the old man they point and para. Say, hey. Then they shoot more para all with their mouth. Say, hey, look at. Me? That other guy, I be like me. I tell God, take yourself, me knock out walk that day. So I tell the wall for the mix. As people like, hey, right now. As people like, they say, that teacher will they arrest. So you see? Hey, me, what can I maybe they do? Okay. Now I make even the police. Anyway, me not a policeman. And say obey and complain later. But then say if you get wrong orders, you're not supposed to adhere. But anyway, Lord they go.
And also a mentally challenged person who would express your opinion about the state of affairs and about the president.
Black guy, you know all kinds of. And this back na fresh one. Eh? And say black guy they express your opinion. I right. But si be go bamba kayaka for one day. I think go the social media fumble and say, then go pull her. So, black are now an example. Mr. Khan, the teacher, an example. Eh?
If police will arrest the people then we need for worry because press freedom, not only they talk about the media and journalism, also they talk about freedom of expression. When every citizen in right for enjoy.
So then tia way you don't make instance of give example of thing them where you say journalists them don't they go through during the course of work. How it affects the press freedom in general na salon because if the police were supposed for the protect people organization like Sludge, they get issues with how police they handle where situation in arise where how the police and they handle them. How it affects the overall press freedom?
It affect cover. It journalists from doing their work. It also they send some chilling effect on the media and in practitioners there, because if the police begin to do that, then people begin feedback say, you know, what they do, they go begin self-censor themselves.
You know, yeah. So the way police they act when somebody go for interview, as the commander do, they arrest you. He say then they go make people and they self-censor themselves. Media houses, even people, even you go be careful what you they talk. Because you know how as the commander do, back home. Or I mean I can always say press freedom of expression. A freedom after expression, na the issue.
Say this story, if I talk this year, the police will call me. Because we find out say the police now they use what we call incitement. We're very big for arrest people who they try for express them then the sensitive view.
He said police they use the word incitement. He said that one in a vague word. Incitement. Then it's Bright. Femi Claudius Cole. What again? That time for that statistics salon. Okay. You know it at the talk. The census. The money. All of the word where they use against them say then they incite. And they incite people them. Instead of a vague word and an empty word. It loose. It not tied to certain thing. All incitement. Okay.
Against the government or against public officials. And that's not good. And then they overreact.
Police, they overreact. He said he not good, and then they overreact. Tell me about it.
And the way they do overreact, look like the way they go arrest the teacher. The teacher then they come out from an interview at AYV, and as a commander they get to, they just can arrest them. Why you not go wait to say the next day and invite the person to come to station, and when I can engage her, when I talk with her.
So in say, even the way how they go arrest the teacher na AYV, he say na overreact, they overreact. He say when they not go even wait safe. If na the other day, then they say, well, Kamka explain to we.
Then you go, as a commander station, you go down. So they make other guys that will go for Canada station. If they invite themselves, they go free for good. Even though they can't talk, genuine things them, they go free for good. They say as a commander, so they can't arrest me.
So you don't see the fear, panic. He say, I think that they will talk now. Yeah. So you go make other people afraid for go talk because you don't know that they wait for you now do. You know that they wait for you now do. We can call it say incitement. Lord go back, go explain a CID. Yeah. Abdul Blad they ask what to overreact or na the directive so they can give them. Well, I think all two.
So these are the effects. They send a chilling effect on the media, and also they send a chilling effect and cover journalists them not for do their work correctly, and they will begin afraid for talk the critical things them. And we work now for talk about the critical things them.
He said then coward journalists them go afraid. Yeah. Coward journalists. Then go afraid for begin talk about the critical things them because as a journalist, the critical things them. Now if I guess, but we know say politicians they not like then talk then critical things then they in the politician they not like.
All the public officials to account and feel free for talk what you feel say it ain't in the interest of the public.
So speaking truth to power, now one thing where the journalists them suppose for the do with then here we don't highlight House large don't able for ensure say in as much as the journalists and itself for practice the profession professionally, but also una as large for ensure say the institutions them way they in the security sector. How now do they work with them over the years? Because after the repeal of the criminal libel law, we know say plenty people been believe say after that the people them really for feel free for express themselves on issues them more than things say no they go down well with them, but if they but issues we get for do with police and journalists them where they serve as watchdog, then there is a big problem like how you say now somebody threatened and to the media. So how large they work with the institutions here for ensure say the journalism gets a free space for work.
Okay, if you remember last year, because to know say that a big concern for we. This not just happening in the past few years. This not two that would only happen for the past decades.
That is true. That is so true. So not to now we happy no, or not to now we start to. From where Adam was a boy and Eve was a girl, where saloon, na be said the law. When a politician and don't wear inside the media, as no more. And the politicians there, and you feel say that they control police. Police say when they say orders from above, every policeman get big man. You don't mean how we can turn them. But anyway, how they go?
Our relationship with the civilian police is very strained, and we see and say. We don't put press release, boku. Any FTR for journalists, the next week we don't put press release, and we follow up. The police will tell we see, then they investigate, and most times the investigation never concluded. And so what we decide to do as an executive under my leadership.
He said police, if journalists don't they follow, almost in there. We also self don't at table walking the wait for the conclusion. Police go tell you say then they investigate, and the investigation that the case they die. Okay.
And for make sure say we approach the police and engage them. Not only the police, but all the security sector, including the RSLF and also the ONS and other agencies. Them. We approach them. We tell them say we need for dialogue, and we do it on the symbolic day. The symbolic day on November 2nd, on the International Day for End impunity for crimes against journalists. So, and fortunately, the police themselves realize, the security sector themselves realize, say, it's an issue. We need to understand ourselves. We need for support ourselves, work professionally, and then get the responsibility for protect journalists and ensure their safety. So what we do for dialogue with them, and that dialogue then culminates to the process who make a commitment and sign an MOU, memorandum of understanding. Like I be saying, when they sign out, so this not going to happen, nothing not going to change instantly. But this is now a big step towards addressing the issue of safety and security of journalism and we relationship with the police. So then one big step down the end we continue for pursue. Like I've been saying, we and the police get some engagement with the plan for the training before the elections. We will make sure say members they understand the police work. Then say the members they understand within the media and work. And we all try for respect the rules and we support we safe and follow democracy go before.
We go support we self, we and police for let we democracy go before. That Ibideyeri, the voice of the president for Sludge, Hamed Nasrallah, the monk, and we want to say thanks to Radio Democracy because na them make me and you able for Yeri this interview this morning. A long pass through, but we know we can't take everything, so we just say let we count the main one. Make we understand between the media houses them or the journalists them and Sierra Leone police how they don't plan for work together. It's Press Freedom Day. There we get press freedom na salon. It depends on who you ask. It depends on how you team up the lens you use for watch them. Let's count Usman Toli. Make we hear waiting in get for it today. Welcome on board Usman Toli. You get the platform, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Triple A, for having me. For Can Talk on Press Freedom na Salon. And also, I would thank the viewers and listeners. And we really appreciate your analysis. One thing I just want to make clear is that one of the fundamental tools for promote democracy in any country na press release. Press freedom. What I mean here? The freedom of the press or press freedom, it help for check the excesses of government, especially in a country like Sierra Leone, whose parliament weak. We all know say one of the functions of parliament now for perform the oversight functions. Well, in Sierra Leone, we all know say the oversight functions where parliament get, they know they do them well. So this is why we want let press freedom coincide, let the press get the freedom so that then we will check the excesses of government. But again, if press no get that freedom there for the check the excesses of the government, then democracy they at stake. Now that's what they try for saying here. We all can remember when this government repealed the Part 5 of the 1965 Criminal Libel Law. We all been celebrate Nasa alone. We all celebrate. And also, this government received international accolade for that. Because we all know, say, for a very long time, government in, government out, then don't they talk about for repeal the criminal libel law of Part 5 of the criminal libel law, but it not happen until where this government come, it can't repeal them. So we all been celebrate. We think, say, now something good to be, to go by. But you don't listen to the president of Sludge, we at the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists. Clearly, they don't tell you, say, there are a lot of bottlenecks. There are a lot of threats or challenges, if you like. And these threats, clearly, listen, they come up from the police. Yeah? And the police, they don't begin make good things, say, the repeal of the criminal labor law, not to will for celebrate, because they know they make life easy for let the media express their own concerns or some of the things that were in the see say it go wrong in the country. You listen to the president of Sludge. Yeah? A lot of things then they were highlight in terms of the success system. A lot of things then they were highlight. But when you look at them critically, you see say some of the things them where the gains that we do not make, I would say, it look like they want for rob them off with some of the bad things that now we would see in the happen at the country. In terms of intimidation, harassment, you name them. You listen to this president of Slide give you so many examples. I like that. He gives so many examples. Why we get forget concern in terms of the freedom of press or the press freedom. And I think this is now a question where you raise or somebody raised this question. When you talk about press freedom, if you look at it from the journalist's point of view, of course, now the freedom of the press for practice what it then they practice for be independent so that there will be no political interference. Yeah, the ability for let them practice what it then supposed for practice. But if you remember this part 5 of the 1965 criminal libel law, although it emphasized in terms of the freedom of press freedom, we know say a lot of the intimidation, harassment way when you go on, I mean they direct them mostly to the press, but also exclude members of the public. In other words, if you go against the law in terms of libel, yeah, you publish something where then go deal with you, whether be you the press or an individual. So the criminal libel law, it covered both individual as well as that of the press. So what are we saying here? Or what in the Sludge president may talk now here? When you talk about freedom of the press, you get to look at them also from the citizen's point of view, from the individual point of view. Yeah? So the individual, forget what you call expression of freedom of expression. You get forget the right for expressing freedom. But today, let we ask ourselves, so we deal with the expression of freedom. So many examples were given by the president of Sludge. You listen to her. For example, talk about political opponents. And you mentioned that as well, AAA. We see so many political opponents, starting from Silver Blyden herself. Don't start from Silver Blyden. Or even the chief minister then, where a member of the press published something where he believes say it's not true. They arrest them for no good reason. Take hand on to Silver Blyden, where they be detained them or even put in a jail for self for sometimes. We all know that. Yeah? Up to the latter part here. We see NGC, the chairman, when Dennis Bright, Dr. Dennis Bright, Yaya Tunis. Yeah? You talk about so many others where they don't detain. So many other people. Now, so for practice democracy, is that what we call freedom of speech? You talk about the case of Lamrana. It gives you so many examples, countless examples, why we for raise the red flag. So many examples. And I like that where somebody, they come report, they give examples to them. They just give it a vague one. I like the interview. It gives you so many clear examples. And press freedom, as I say no more, is also, it constitutes freedom of expression. Yeah? To the extent that even, somebody who is sick, mentally insane, and they go to the extent for arrest them, I think in itself, it provoke with democracy. It provoke with democracy. Yeah? How many times would they see people that want for strike, industrial action? The police, they come inside, then they pull that strike stay. Since this government kind of power, low count how many strikes they don't take place in that country. Where police not they intervene, stop that strike actions. And we all know the importance of strike action. We know how important. It's a way where organizations, individuals, then they demonstrate their concerns. In itself, it's important for promote democracy. But each time where an organization or individual or, one come out, for express their concerns over things in the form of industrial actions, you read the police and they quote a particular section of the Constitution. Tell you for obtain permit and all that. I think in itself, now a big concern. Well, not of a bother no much with information. Let me just think say the police independence is a critical component for promote with democracy in our country. If democracy forget a strong stand in our country, the independence of the police is important. Because if you listen to this interview, I think the police form a critical aspect of all this. Because each time where somebody they try for expressing concern, for create a kind of checks and balances to the government, then they send police against you. Yeah? So then they use the police as a tool for destroy people and freedom for express themselves. So it is important for all we all know, say, the independence of the police is critical to the advancement of a country's democracy. But if we know they see that, you think, say, we will ever get press freedom in our country? Because we all know for a very, very long time, the police not ever independent in our country. They receive orders from the above. This is why whenever a government come, we all know then tear they happen. Then they change the head of the police. This is a critical example like this one now. Michael Savola. Because one way where they influence an organization or an institution, now for just pull the man commodity, the one way is not the leader or manager or top man, pull and they come out. Then he begin pass instructions to them. You don't need for change a good number of them. Just change the whole head because now they pass the information. So now so they can do them. Now so politicians they do things. They come change some man the way they know say this now a key component, a key person at this institution or this organization. Then they begin pass instructions to them secretly. Now so that they influence all the institutions and organizations then. And what do we expect in a country whose the vice president and the chairman of the police board? You tell me, I will expect an independent police force when the chairman of the police and the vice president. You see, who say some of them problems they come out, and some of them they come out. Because you tell me, anytime whether man go chair the police board, whether in one way or the other, it must influence them. The instructions, they come up from them. Yeah? So what am I saying here? The bottom line is that although the repeal of the criminal libel law is something where we've been to celebrate, but I think it's just a fraction to the problem where the press freedom they get in that country. Just a fraction. Just a fraction by what we don't see so today. There are some other important components where the press freedom need in order for promote democracy in our country. To crown it all, listeners and viewers, as long as the police force is not independent in that country, as long as the government they continue for influence the police in that country, all other things them, I think say, not just provoke we. Not provoke we. And make no mistake, the police force is an important component of democracy. Important component of democracy. If they don't want to be freedom, they're not going to give you freedom. And they use all kind quotation, all kind law, for just make things difficult for us. And they bring all kind. We only say baku term in terms of the artists them. You don't say some of the artists themselves they're problematic, but if police want make life difficult for you, they make them difficult. So I will stop here. Give chance to my fellow panelists. Thank you very much, Triple A, for giving me the floor, and thanks to everybody who is listening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Usman Tony. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you just join me, it's Press Freedom Day across the world. Salon self they observe them. Where they ask the question, how will you press freedom turn in a salon? Eh? And then they will deal with it today. Now we'll lay on a table. Now what you self get forget the opportunity for express your own views. Because now your own human rights that one day. Let me bring come us friend. Let me hear what thing he get for we today. Welcome on board, us friend. You get the platform, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Triple A, for giving me the platform. And thanks to Mr. Usman Toli, and thanks to the Source Radio Democracy regarding this press freedom global celebration. I believe when they try for celebrate more this year, UNESCO bring this up, they will recognize more the journalists. Because now they look at the press, as you say, but then they try for recognize the journalists and waiting the need for achieve, and most the one that we don't die in looking for information for letting them go pass on to the media, to the public. Because when you talk of the press, now people and way they try for bring information through writing. In other words, then they print out either newspaper or magazines. But knowing saying that then your area that one day, say back there is another area of journalism where it is in the source of mainstream media. Like they do a double task in that area. So you see, say all these things at the table. So what UNESCO they try for do, then they try for remember they want they would not die more during this process of investigative journalism, coming down from the history of Namibia, all those things, push them, South Africa, apartheid. So they form up this organization for 30 years now, because they call them 30 years plus. But what's in the thing, then they look the challenges, and what's in the not seeing the challenges they are on that structure, on that economic area. And that one way then get right. See now, would it work something on a regional cooperation? But how the regional cooperation then they find out, now in then they try to bring in policies there, then they get a declaration would they work along with this. So you see, say the press they and as we say, then they are the one that would they print and try for publish, and then you get back the other sector of the one they wouldn't other press of the media way in terms of one of the mainstream media wouldn't just follow that journalism. They can come up like you get mainstream media on AYV. But the point here is the link between the public, the government, the police, and the press. Now the structure gets a problem. And now this structure, I believe, say, lack protocols and how that system did work. So when them protocols and they lead on, then they put them in the form of either a lie by law, move out, or now this right you get for do so, or now this you get for go so. But in pursuing this, the journalists and they always take the risk. See now we did right and make the public know, because the information I then they try for pass, and then they pass news and opinions And when they pass their news and opinions, they want the public, then go able for be convinced for let them go able for say now we know say all what you they try for do for now we go able for understand what you they tell we then at the public and how we go able for act upon that information they and then the government back go yeri what the authority they need for do. So it become like a bit of a difficult challenge way, as he says, specifically Sierra Leonean journalists then in the face. So you get the structure, then you get back, then the effect for letting go get economic development. Because when you see what's in the challenges, they don't put them down. But you know, explain all there are areas when you look about subvention, you look about what in they need for do, so they go able to get that independence, so they don't go link on the government society, they'll get influence. The freedom, if you say, is limited because the structure not there. Because one, they don't even get the freedom for even the money for them can't get the subvention because they get cost of printing, they get cost of buying materials, they get the cost of buying even the equipment or for repair, and wouldn't they print them newspaper they also. But some of them can't even print magazines, which should have been more. When they go, they see, would they sell them in the West Africa region and so on. But that's not the extension part. But this structure with policies and protocols, now they're the battle day. And how the battle they come again with them one when they say they want for getting your freedom, they get that digital challenge because now they the siege king day. They siege them out and they like a kind of they just lock them and they say you can't move out with the protocols and wouldn't some of the protocols are open for say when I get right to do this, but the structure now in they siege them. Because the protocol in this, so government don't see, but because of the system, an example, the system and the structure not get information for let go able for say now we get one system where this if person they travel, we even just check one way. Either digital way, we go no say that man they don't buy a ticket and they come. But if not they will just because we they see facial recognition, then would they go back to the old system where they know they move further where that structure would they say, what that man can never need for looking facing an AYV or you don't go put something under. Now he buying tickets, the right say, now like any person where they go visit, you know they go there under that. So the structure now the main thing we government get for look into because for let them get the structure well, then get for put the structures and way it will be like different platforms where then will need the journalists and will able for tap independently. Then they tap into the technology where the government don't put around. Then they tap into waiting the system called for them for say, and so will they transmit the information to UNA. So how we go transmit them, we not get a method the way the opinion for because the opinion of the people and now they try for bring up to una as a journalist because every citizen again you right for let you go talk. And another one the una are journalists back then they do indirectly, but then they do it in the form of different way when they can write because now the citizens then you right for let them get freedom of speech. What did that mean? Because then they look on daily activities, they report them, just like you put your post, you see things they come. So the public now, you can't read now, you decide, say, okay, and they make up sense now. I know say that this, na get right for do this, or now this, na get false. Based on that information, what you don't give. But when you just say the journalists, they give, able to give the citizen your right for like get freedom of speech. Now they see say now the citizens they get from it, now they see how then they live and then how the system they affect them. Now they take a report on daily basis so that the authority then will able to act. But when the government realize that this duty, then they do them for help we level self go know areas of weak points because if they get investigative journalists, where they go get this information. But because of the system, the structure, people in want for do something, then want for hide behind something, for say this now we own camp, and then they siege the other system. And when they siege them, they digital more. Not the problem because I think even the team where they hold on this year because it's all about what they call hook declaration. Only because of that Namibia, because I didn't pull and for let people then go become members, let them go able to get economic growth, let them go get regional cooperation, let them go able for fight autocrat, then government they will feel like dictatorship, but in the form of an autocrat. That's when they display their own way. But when the digital they on siege, they get taxation with they and they eating them when they try for order or they want for buy new technology, the money not do, we go print something we qualifying or design, anything to do with promoting the press, media, and other things in the country. You find out in a day, they complain more and more. The side where they don't go to the index of that 46, that freedom, now the protocols, but now the system now where they try for let them go back up because the index in most of the index in any area then they look structure of what the protocols or the policies that we put behind them. But the structure now, what you put in place, where the people then go able to tap copper day, technology day, or Wi-Fi, they reach all sides, or we get the fiber optic where they go up to the province well, or if the radio system, if they work well, not when they go to a flick, even when they try for pass information, so you see a AYV, they defunct, even they call this radio democracy. So you see the Chinese again for can't help them when they see them design panda photo now with radio democracy now because of the smaller what they get. They know they give a subvention. Even SLBC, now we know what they are afraid because then they try to get that protection because they're not look independent in that independent way, like how they get the other media in other country, like what BBC go there for go help even less than get a problem. But the point is here, SLBC be need subvention. Now only recently when they try for call, let's say then they give them. So this is the main thing. We will make them fight the battle against this digital siege where they become siege. Wherein then they get back other people and they get the public because the public not official one way they do. Then they only talk thing where they get an opinion based on even the social media where they mix the official one, the one at the mainstream or the backstream. All those things, but this backstream, let the public hear way this and they just talk unofficially, give opinion. Then they tap play as the journalists when the press. The reason that then they try all the time for let them go get the citizen and freedom of speech because now based on that one day, they know they can't say now Joe Tokamo. Past if you be saying now the need for specified place and time or person. So now that message day, that link day, now you know they so then they allow more the people who are the public for give them the message. And when they put their message, it lead them to unprofessional work. An example is somebody go put like the trial, he go put a media because the man in the information to public saying I saw them for do in the form of threat. He put an the trial. So people are very say, well, no, if you can't put this man voice clip and this trial and this now a public, now individual, not to the president, they try for push. So you see, say back in the siege. They see people because you know if you go one let them go publish them. When they publish them now, then you go attack that side. So they see the structures and then get for work in place. So that when you put say if person talk this, would they do this or this, and you get right for let you go do, well you know go steer anything. You forget the level for say this talk. He reach the value or he full up for like you reach say my case they be for say you don't go talk something where they cause problem and we no say this will cause problem so for hold you. So those are the areas because we still go with the old system, that fear. We for arrest them, we not for investigate, we not for find out. All we get for do, we capture them, we stop them, they not for talk them because then they cause this. But this is not the area because it's all sick. You get CDR. Then get for look digital, develop them, they make the press and get a new revenue, then go they get because they get students try for ask for fund for them, but I don't know what thing they don't make, what thing at them and how they call it, then get away or the agreement or whatever thing they don't put statement we then gather from people who can this speech and this media thing we then do viability if they're not able to get people who they can for donate something to them, for let them go give them, would I go make in studio fine, would I go get in print in press fine, then would I go they get these things the way go do, and then they shoot them to continental or regional, then it begin to go, because that is what we aim for do, because the way with them the press them people the way they do that investigative more, because then they able to get the message when they bring, because when you get good and trained investigators, they get them in terms of professionalism of the media itself, we cannot say they say can get small blunders where they say they try for iron out. Now friend they bring out few things that what they say then go get law. We don't sit down and then be argue first for long na parliament for them bring them there. Uda then go get rights, Uda forget rights for camp foreigner, for can inside, for country, then begin to argue on these things. So this is all where it comes to the challenge where government get for try look so that they no go get, then go try for end scare tactics. Now they for try end, and then they for try take stock of the press freedom every now and then in terms of the police when directly they link to them, so because they then were able for no waiting the law we put, the police there they do them, or then they act on say let them just do them so that we go able for do something we will police somebody, or then they do them based on backyard telling say you go do this just for let you go stop that person there, but again you go see them say it happened, because the public sometimes they are under siege as well in terms of passing their message. The one the way they do them, then now they even see, then they even use, because they allow the man where they there for always they can't give message into official. It cause unrest. So when you allow the press for them, because then they always structure, they want to let them gain public attention. They want to let them go able to get public interest, let them paper them go sell. Then go out for rights. Some they do it in the form of a caricature, like the monkey design. They get cleverness in doing that, intelligence. So this is the way they get for capture. But when you left the press, developer, now the outside people, or the public, official, now they go do them. Now they see say back, they get problem. We go with them, because when they come, then they talk hard way, because the press don't talk, they don't write, the press don't do this, but you don't see that you block them, and then they allow more the one in public. When one panel in common can't talk, then you find out see total eclipse. Then the tactics then they come, then go arrest and force scatter and lesson. But let them try develop the media so that we're able to get a news media and news industry. Once they get news media we based with the industry, like I've introduced, then the laws then get structure with everything they work, with somebody do something and go know they will be able to get freedom of speech, who impress who they talk about. Thank you very much. Let God continue for help with, and let God continue for give leaders and wisdom every day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, us friend.
You're welcome, yes, sir.
Yeah. I want to say thanks to us friend and also Smantoli for their own contribution today. We will try to get Tony later. You had to listen. The phone line open now. Make we hear from you. Waiting you and for ad. Or if you think say we don't do well, then we'll go left here in the next 5 minutes. Let us just come with Tony. Make we hear waiting and get for we today. Welcome on board, Tony Ture Jones. You get the platform.
Yeah, Abraham, thanks for having me. Ufambo Demona Kabo. I want to say congratulate we wonderful journalists and where they do a very good job. And because of their good job in giving information and passing, you understand, and good work what they do, they make they decide for get to do it and they celebrate when our World Freedom Day. Especially for the context we would look at, especially for Sierra Leone, they ask if we get freedom of speech in a salon. You understand? For me, I think say to some extent, where you they talk in favor of the one them we waiting the one for you. But many a times we see just like where the president highlights, we so many people because once you raise your voice or you say something way not good for them, or do that bad business, you definitely could be bound for be questioned by the police. or you go see them go the next moment and go come for interview you, or they will come for pick you up. We see, I mean, it highlights a lot of things. Then we at least that lady premise we all before understand, so we know exactly how we society they operate. And trust me, when they talk about democracy, one major thing where they go alongside with democracy is when people they're able for talk, they're able for express themselves, they're able for ask question without any fear. That now one pivot role with freedom of speech they play. If a country, especially for Sierra Leone, what we did talk about, if we're not able for ask question, people do not able get the right for assemble, people do not get the right for this. The democracy, I know we say, successful, but on itself, successful because people then afraid if you ask question, then we can arrest you. And it cites a lot of issues. That's not for be the case. Make you always say objection handling, you understand? For give you an opportunity for make you able to explain more to the people. When the people are not informed, when the people do not, there is that gap in communication, or probably certain things in the way they happen where they're not knowledgeable about, or then waiting, you make them able build assumptions, and you will make them with it. So they make with government always, especially the one the way they now where they will win as alone. Because if you take the rate at which a lot of journalists then within these 4 years, the police don't arrest a lot of them. And now the government, just the course now totally say, I mean, if you get the vice president, then at the head of the police, and you get so many things, then way it's like the hands are tied. You get the internal ministry, internal welfare, I mean, sorry, internal affairs, where then they supervise the police. All the things then they make the compromise situations. It doesn't mean say because una the oversight, or una the supervise the police, you understand, means say una get for use una power. No, outside democracy they prevail. Outside, say yes, you want to make, because if you government were in power, you hear some of them things that the way they happen. Now your responsibility for cross check and see, because we know we can always say now salute any side where smoke day, fire day behind day. And many times most of them grapevine and they where people in can rumor plenty time smoke in the way can come out of them. So this now an opportunity where if you not say you answer clean, when another do anything dubious, if people raise voice or people then say something, or reporters or journalists or this, when at the young field, the one they when they're in them they study, or they in them take, that the young passion, I don't feel say you get for arrest them. I feel saying that the rights of every government for protect journalists. Now you see, even recently where this guy Trevor Noah shared this with the America gets on with the way the president safety attend. It doesn't mean because the president they attend means say you get forbid if the president or the government do wrong, would I not go talk? No, that's the integrity part of your job. Because if you get integrity, if government officials say they do something, not afraid because now you party, no, that your duty for reporter. And but so much many times where you did notice say the journalists them of course not even for come out, even for give out them the full report of certain incidents them or things that way they happen, just because they feel because their allegiance or the self, I don't say they get right for belong, but the job where a journalist they do, you get for be fair. You got to make sure say you very fair in the reporting. Because even though we they talk on the we they talk on the politician them, we they talk to them, make them for desist some of them things they're able for waiting. But the journalists themselves, within the journalists themselves, you have infighting. Because you get certain journalists then where they report for certain political party, you get sort of journalists the way they report for opposition. So there is that clash always. So when this writes against this, definitely the other newspaper where they come publication tomorrow go write we understand contrary of waiting the one contrary of waiting the one I say. So even within their own field, their own practice or their own passion, then they get for sanitize things. We see in other party what we did. You understand the media houses. You understand? I mean, they self get the CNN and Fox News, they get two different views many times. You understand? And when they say that not for happen as alone, but at least the bottom line of the job is integrity. They therefore make sure say if you dey do your job well, you understand, try for do and make you become an honest person. We see so many journalists them we take sides, like the Tambayo them or whatever journalists. We see them delicate today. Who say they end up? They cannot even have that kind of that integrity no more for able to stand out in public, for make people able for listen to them. So in as much as they're doing the job, their job involves a lot of integrity. Because if you compromise situations and you see things to go bad, you not report them. You tend for downplay them, try for sweet talk them, try for make like say nothing not happen, you play politics in them. At the end of the day, posterity will get you for blame. Just like how we get them by all them way, they like it today. I mean, they don't compromise situations. You understand? There's nothing wrong giving out your views. There's nothing wrong for make you be honest reporting. But when you're reporting, make sure say this job where you do, na job where a lot of people depend on, because it's like you running a restaurant. That's so a journalist day. A lot of people they feed for information, good or bad. A lot of people and they way they get where they derive, just like how you they do this job now, Abraham. A lot of people then they one me friend called me one time. I don't even know if say he can listen to this program. He said, Tony, every time while they drive, you understand? Because they do them trucking. While they travel state to state, he say, I always they listen to Abraham program. I say, yeah. He say, so they keep me on the road. That's and so always when you do your job, you do it with passion and everything. A lot of people then the way you they touch. A lot of people will go benefit. You understand? But this label business will get a salute probably because some of them defend favors, some of them defend after they all want to be attaché or whatever for make them assign them with make the field. So I mean, no. I mean, within themselves a lot of infighting, but government and office say they need for the arrest journalists them when they report bad news, because the reason why this day is being celebrated is for let them re-echo, let them be for remind government that these people are doing a very decent job. It's their right to report, and it pivots a role in any developments on any society, because if something they happen where they do developments on any side, the people them will be informed, and whether they inform the people then is a journalist. If something bad they happens on side, whether go inform the people that are journalists. So their job they're doing, if something good today they report for you, I mean it's good. They want to become a balance. They want to do a balanced job. They want to do a balanced reporting. It doesn't mean because if you do bad, we see or they see government functionary they do something bad, they're not for talking because what you make, oh, they go can arrest me. No, that's not democracy. Democracy they strive outside there is freedom of speech. Outside people then free for talk, outside people they free for ask question, outside people they free for make contribution, outside people they able for monitor things, outside people they able for know about affairs that are going on, outside people then if you just keep that kind of way, you just lock everything to yourself. You understand? Or you just get your media people them. Because even when governments them, we've seen government they get press conferences them. Certain media houses when not they report good for them, they not invite them. No, they not invite them. With the see with society, even salon. And obviously in a decent thing that they for make a government get young people that when they no more. No, this is democracy. Make the other man on the other eye where they do a job like a journalist, make them see I'm say like, oh, me not they no political party, but this party in power they treat me with dignity and respect. Some of the journalists they're not being treated like that. Even people that way na activists, people that way because they're not only reporters, when a civil society, you understand, will give out them views, at the end of the day, police will pick them up. No, once that will thing we go create a chaos, when that will thing we go create that tendency of war or anything like country, I mean, you get the right for make you investigate. In the process of investigation, doesn't mean you get to go lock the person. Doesn't mean you get to go torture the person. No. If a journalist reports something where you know say, no, it's not true, you get problem with them, call her. Nothing wrong with that. They have their body. They get the head way na their sala. Una can report to them. You get IMC. So this journalists do something. Let them do a follow-up. But with the see police go arrest, I don't feel that the right thing that day. You dey create fear, you dey create stigma, you dey create a situation where they're not going for reports. Even if they see good thing they happen, they're not going to forget the confidence for reports and because they've once been victimized by a politician or probably the police. So if you want for really allow them for do a clear job, a very good job with passion, where just like how the politician necessarily now they own passion and they for going to politics and practice, and that the same thing just like the journalists, allow them to do their job. You understand? So we they beg. We know say these governments, not to the number don't they do that thing. Even subsequent governments, then they where journalists don't suffer from them. You understand? But that not for be a pattern for say, oh, APC me do am, so SAPP for do am. No, they're doing a very decent job. You know, so now me take that the government for use criticism or objection handling as a way or opportunity where you're able to inform the people better, where you're able to do monitoring, where you're able to check. Because certain things the way not to all things governments go see, or not to all things a president or minister or this go see. Certain things that the way they happen at different quarters, different corridors. But the person way go report up, now the journalist. That na me will take it, bro.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Yeah.
One for say thanks to Tony Toure Jones and also his friend and Usman Toli. I'll tell us, say some journalists criticize today and join the people they criticize tomorrow. Then become the spokesperson. That's you. I think ask AAA now. AAA, if they give you job, I say I just want let the president know say side in where they talk to. No so. Because if they give me job, not go last so because me I need go lie. You don't say it's trouble go there now. Like you say, anyway, not left that no more. Because a lot of journalists and then get them press attaché. So then they represent a different country there. Oh la la. No so. So sometimes I saw them go do myself. I begin campaign one thing, so sometimes I want country them go send me. I tell them say, hey, Triple N talk again. I go talk there. Don't get a hook. You they see? Triple N, no, you know they are na the government say na you know press attaché now. We can say Triple N say the government is doing well. No, they understand. And say, hey, but na Triple N I don't change voice so. I told them it's anybody wanna learn from that incident so they at the media. You no go learn again. Trust me. Now one day, it do for make you understand how the previous government, the APC, they don't shake tail, don't shake tail, and then say, but now your package again, and package again can't go kono. It take 1 month they serve for that position. After I sell him battery for Kokoebe. La la. No, so Abdul Fonti hot seat. I have a Fonti analyze for you. That one back the hot seat right now. Let me say the member and get space. Also, Lamana they can talk for government. You go ask say, na Lamana. But Fonti right now if you analyze but you go land, but that thing there. You ask what to now Fonti will be the host hot seat and they talk so now. Power of is it money or politicians? I beg ya, press freedom. I don't know so you see. I don't know so I see. You got anything you want to add? You get Andy? Also, well, we don't try today. No, left here. You don't try. Press freedom na salon. Yeah. No journalist, no they na sell because of the job way they practice. That is true. It depends on the certain time. Because like that journalist so then go pull na bow. Where then drag and can't free tongue. You already know how it be end up. Look how this caller. 3 minutes. Welcome on board, sir. Your name and also the call from, please.
Concerned citizen.
3 minutes, sir.
Well, no, I mean, I just short question number one ask.
Go ahead, sir.
Dear, that boy with me didn't have discussion yesterday. I think they may discuss the president's speech. We didn't have AYV, I think, with some Bangura. I think maybe NGC or NGO, by what they call NGC.
Oh, yes.
In a waiting. In a journalist or in a waiting?
No, na Ministry of Information, na one of the strategies, communication strategists them. Now one of the communication strategists, Imran. Now Imran you dey talk. One of the communication strategists, yes. Now Ministry of Information
a journalist. Because the way they talk, they look like a journalist because they come out and they don't get credibility at all. And also, they're a long time now. What's wrong with Alpha Saido? He's a journalist.
No, instead of communication strategist and the Ministry of Communication. Instead of getting position there, yes, sir.
Because it don't take a long time to hear him.
He did it.
I'm going to say don't go.
No, something be missing. So
it don't go internal death.
No, so because one case being can we name be cancer anti-corruption. I think after that one day, well, I think like the snail inside the shell, so maybe they be careful.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, well, I don't know more. Two questions. They don't want me to ask them. Make a
thank you very much.
Position,
Yes,
that's all. As I say, we don't get freedom of speech, not in a salon. That one is out of it. I can always say, do me, I do you, this party come, you do this, the other one can't do me, I do you, tit for tat. Now with the power of freedom of speech. I don't know when me call.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
That's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Thanks to concerned citizen. Now the only caller Dandy. Yeah, but first I do they then get a lot of communication strategies them. Ministry of Information and every ministry first gets communication strategy. If it's status then gets there. So and then one then job I think now 21 million per month. Something of the sort. 21 million per month. In other part the other ketekemudemu. And the straight up. Nah, I can't take that. I make past that. And then for out Momo. No. Hey. But anyway, they left so. Triple left for set yourself up. Eh? Okay. We then go can give you offer gist though. Pass our canton. Maybe I go the turn panelist now. But they can't defend. Or turn like Imran we call her they talk about. Eh? Alright. We'll go there back tomorrow. Also we'll lock all thing for today. Who say we dey go for them more they come out now? Eh? That's all we'll meet again tomorrow. So people will say tata.